Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. Right now, the latest news we have is that Subriel Matias is gonna fight Dalton Smith. He's gonna fight Dalton Smith, but there's a lot of speculation going on as far as where he's gonna fight. There's a lot of rumors that he could fight December 13th in Madison Square Garden, Dalton Smith versus Subriel Matias, or he could be on the undercard of David Benavidez versus Yardley. I think that's more than likely is going to happen. Salah's, Cesar was actually saying, he's the one that goes back and forth with Filósofo de Boxeo. He was the one that was saying that it's a possibility that there's rumors out there, but Subriel didn't want to tell him because he didn't want to give him the exclusive information. But Cesar actually has good sources, and he said that even though Subriel Matias didn't want to give him the premium information that he wanted, he was saying that he has some information that the fight with Subriel Matias and Dalton Smith will sell better in New York City, in Madison Square Garden, or anywhere in New York, because Subriel Matias did really good with Puello versus Subriel Matias. But they were saying that it was Subriel Matias was basically saying that it was based on the content creators like Filósofo de Boxeo and Cesar actually promoting it in Spanish is what actually helped more people put more significance and support Subriel versus Puello fight. So that helped a lot. But basically, Cesar, who goes back and forth with Filósofo de Boxeo, is a content creator from Puerto Rico that I followed, and they both go at it. And he was Cesar was going for Puello when Puello was fighting Subriel Matias, and Filósofo de Boxeo was going for Subriel Matias, and Subriel Matias won. So they have like a back and forth with each other, Cesar and Filósofo de Boxeo. Shout out to Filósofo de Boxeo. I follow his content. So it's possible that Subriel Matias might fight in New York City because it would sell more if a fight with Dalton Smith doesn't really ring bells. But since Subriel Matias actually has a big following in New York City, that the Dalton Smith fight versus Subriel Matias with Matchroom, they could possibly make it in New York City, possibly Madison Square Garden. There's nothing confirmed yet, or they could put it on the undercard of David Benavidez on November 22nd. Well, we're not really sure yet on all the details with Turki Al Sheikh. Turki Al Sheikh hasn't confirmed where they're gonna fight and when, and the venue. They're saying they're gonna do it in Riyadh, whatever however you pronounce that. They're gonna do it over there in Saudi, but there's nothing been confirmed as far as if Subriel Matias is gonna be on the card. But that is the deal, that most likely he's gonna be on the Saudi card or New York City, because he sold a lot of tickets in New York City to see the Puello fight versus Subriel Matias, and plus Subriel Matias' stock went up in that fight. And a lot of people were signing. He was signing a lot of autographs that day when Xander Zayas was fighting. Subriel Matias was at New York City supporting Xander Zayas, and he was signing a lot of autographs. And he showed his buying power. He showed his leverage, and a lot of promoters are offering Subriel Matias a lot of offers. But Subriel Matias has an independent, fresh boxing production from Puerto Rico company. So that's all speculation. But as far as what's been going on with the back and forth of Xander Zayas and Virgil Ortiz, I think De La Hoya is a hater. He is such a hater. He's always hated Puerto Ricans. He's always had a vendetta against Puerto Ricans ever since Felix Tito Trinidad beat him. And it's like, why does Xander Zayas have to cater to Virgil Ortiz, a prospect that's 27 years old and still hasn't accomplished a championship? Not taking anything away from I'm not taking anything away from Virgil Ortiz, but I feel like the champion dictates what negotiations can happen and how, and everything has to favor everything has to favor the champion. The champion dictates. He is the champion. De La Hoya was saying that Xander Zayas is a pussy, and saying that he doesn't want to never in a lot of years he never imagined that a Puerto Rican fighter like Xander Zayas would avoid a fight that Mexico versus Puerto Rico with Virgil Ortiz, that he respects all the great fighters like Felix Tito Trinidad, Oscar Collazo, Miguel Cotto, and so on. But at the same time, De La Hoya is saying that he's going to offer him in the email that he sent Xander Zayas. It wasn't a real deal. Like he was saying that he was going to guarantee him 50-50, 50% each one. But the thing is that Xander Zayas was saying that he can't guarantee exactly how much he's going to make on a 50-50 deal on pay-per-view because neither Ortiz or Xander Zayas have ever fought on pay-per-view, so they don't know how much they're going to make on pay-per-view, so that it's a gamble. So basically, Xander Zayas was saying that a fighter like Tank Davis or Ryan Garcia, that they do pay-per-view numbers on a regular basis, they know more or less what they're going to make, and you could guarantee a 50-50 exactly how much each boxer is going to make. But in the case of Xander Zayas and Virgil Ortiz, neither fighter has ever fought on pay-per-view. So he was saying that De La Hoya's deal wasn't a real negotiation because he's not guaranteed, like he's not going to get a guarantee of what he knows he wants. Xander Zayas. Xander Zayas has a number in his head, but he wasn't going to describe or elaborate that with the content creators that were interviewing him. Filósofo de Boxeo, which is a great content creator, and he was given a great interview. And Xander, well, it wasn't Filósofo de Boxeo, it was actually the Playmaker. The Playmaker was actually interviewing him about this. And this is a recent interview where Xander Zayas said that they were offering me a fight in Las Vegas or Los Angeles. That's their fans. Virgil Ortiz's fans are in Las Vegas and in California, in Los Angeles. But his fans, Xander Zayas' fans, are on the East Coast. So he says, I know they want what I want, but not the other way around. I don't want what they want. Basically, Xander Zayas is saying that he has the leverage. He's the one that's in control because he is the champion. He's the WBO champion, and they don't have anything that he wants. And then Xander Zayas said that whenever he wanted to fight them, whenever Virgil Ortiz wanted to fight Xander Zayas, and Xander Zayas wasn't a champion, Xander Zayas was willing to bite the cable because, he wasn't champion at the time, so he was going to fight a big name in Virgil Ortiz, and that was a reason for him to bite the cable. But in this case, now that he's the champion, the tables have turned, and now he doesn't have to bite the cable, and he's saying that they have to cater to whatever Xander Zayas wants. If Xander Zayas wants to fight in Puerto Rico, that's where they're going to fight because he is the champion. He dictates where they're going to fight, not the other way around. And he says, why would he fight in Los Angeles or Las Vegas where it's all Mexican? He's not going to fight in a place where it's going to favor De La Hoya's fighter, Virgil Ortiz. But if he fights in Puerto Rico, he has that right to fight in Puerto Rico. And then he answered the question of how do you feel about De La Hoya saying that the top rank can't give you Puerto Rico. Wait, hold on one second. Yeah, so basically, he's saying that the top rank doesn't have any impediments of fighting in Puerto Rico, even though they don't have a cable network to work with like ESPN because the contract expired. He's saying that they're still going to work to make the fight his first defense in Puerto Rico in December. So, like, De La Hoya catered to his fighter because he's Mexican and he's going to try to make his fighter become the champion when he's still a prospect at 27 years old. And he can't dictate what Xander Zayas does. And Xander Zayas said that the numbers weren't real, that he's going to make sure that the numbers cater to what he wants, because if they do a 50-50 deal on pay-per-view, they can't guarantee how much money Xander Zayas is going to make and how much money is Virgil Ortiz going to make. So he said because they've never been on pay-per-view before, that's why they can't really accommodate the exact numbers if they do a 50-50 deal on pay-per-view, which De La Hoya was offering Xander Zayas with Virgil Ortiz, which is misleading because he's basically saying, Xander Zayas, that if you want me to fight Virgil Ortiz, it has to be in Puerto Rico because I am the champion. I dictate where we fight because the Puerto Rican guy is the champion, not the other way around. The Mexican guy is not the champion. He can't dictate to fight in Las Vegas or Los Angeles, where there's a heavily populated Mexican population. You know what I mean? So he said that's the reason why that he couldn't take the deal. And, and they're saying, the other content creators are saying that you know, Bob Arum is not going to match what De La Hoya actually offered, because Bob Arum doesn't really pay as much as he should, which I agree to an extent. Puerto Rico should be its own country. Facts, facts. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want. Yep. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. Reed, #1, says hi. Have you heard of Ryan Rosick, middleweight, ranked #4? Nah, never heard of him. What's his record? What's his record? Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Subscribe and click that like button. Don't be afraid to subscribe. My channel is only for the brave. So yeah. So Xander Zayas was basically, they asked him, who do you think will win? They did this like to be kind of like they were playing like devil's advocate. The playmaker asked him, so if you was to fight Virgil Ortiz, who would win between that fight? He says, he pointed at himself like, obviously me. He said, well, put it this way. He says, Virgil Ortiz only knows how to do one thing. He only knows how to punch. He only has power. But me, I have 5 different things, 5 different ways that I could beat him. He only has one way that he could beat me. I have 5 different ways that I could beat him. So he's basically saying that Virgil Ortiz is one-dimensional. He is one-dimensional. And then I saw an interview. Okay, let me see the record. Clay Hensby, #1. Rosicky is 21-1 with 19 KOs. Nice record. Nice record. Is he ranked? Check him out. I'd like to know what you think. Yeah, I'll check him out. Definitely. Rosicky. Okay, Rosicky. Ryan Rosicky. Middleweight, ranked #4. 21-1 draw and 19 KOs. I'm going to check him out, Clay Hensby. I'm going to check him out. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. So, what I was saying, so he says that there's 5 different ways that he could beat Virgil Ortiz. And Virgil Ortiz only has one way to beat Xander Zayas. He's very limited compared to Xander Zayas. He's very limited. How you doing, Arnaldo Nieves? Saludo, Tony. Thanks for tuning in, my brother. Thanks for tuning into my channel. One love, my brother. Arnaldo Nieves, one of my regulars. Clay Hensby, also one of my regulars. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Subscribe to that channel. So, I saw an interview with Robert Garcia. And Robert Garcia was saying that, eventually the interim champion, which is the WBC champion, is Virgil Ortiz, usually has to fight, the champion that's the full champion, like Xander Zayas, who's the full champion, and the interim champion, regardless of organizations, that they have to fight each other. Like, those are the rules of the interim has to fight the full champion. So let's say if a boxer gets hurt, like in the case of let's say if a boxer gets hurt, and then the fighter that couldn't fight him, the fighter that was the fighter that got hurt, there was the fighter that got hurt, there was the full champion. No, let me see how he said it. The interim champion that it's the interim champion, and the champion is the full champion, gets hurt and he can't fight, or he can't defend his belt for whatever reason, and he's out of the loop for a while, then the interim champion becomes the full champion. That's what he said. He said something to that effect. So he's basically saying that Virgil Ortiz, as the interim champion, eventually has to fight the full champion, so there's one champion. But at the same time, he says that the organizations benefit from them not unifying unless it's a big name. And if they don't unify, they keep making money with the sanctioning fees, the 3% that each the regular champion, the super champion, and the interim champion, they make money with the fees. But they treat Virgil Ortiz like if he was a champion. He still gets paid like a lot of money for his fights, when he fights somebody, like if he was a champion. But at the same time, he's still the interim champion, and the only way that he could become the full champion is if by some reason Xander Zayas, he can't defend his belt, and he stays inactive for a while, then they automatically make, you know, Virgil Ortiz the full champion. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that hypothetically speaking, that's how it works with the interim champion and the full champion. Joseph S. Tony, you the man, brother. I hope you be streaming when Bud and Canelo fight. I'm going to try my best, brother. I can't really give you the streaming like that because I've done it before. I could give you like the behind the scenes, or I could give you like, you know, like my opinion on what's going on with the fight, but I can't actually share the fight with you because they'll give me copyright infringements on my channel, so I can't do that, you know. So yeah, but I'm a definitely give you some content, you know, on the day of the Canelo Alvarez you know, Crawford fight, definitely. Joseph S., thanks for tuning in, my brother. Hopefully Xander versus Virgil is the next turkey. Got to make it happen. I mean, for right now, I don't think they're going to make it happen because I don't think that Bob Arum is going to match the money that supposedly De La Hoya was going to give him. But it's not fair with what De La Hoya was offering him because De La Hoya was trying to favor his fighter when his fighter's not the champion. His fighter's the interim champion. And, you know, they want what Xander Zayas has. The Puerto Rican guy has the champion. They're hating on Puerto Rico, man. The Mexicans have been hating on Puerto Rico. Like, De La Hoya has a vendetta with Puerto Ricans ever since he lost to Felix Trinidad. Like, I feel like De La Hoya is always, you know, like, doesn't want to see a Puerto Rican hold on to the belt. But if they do fight now, I think Xander Zayas is poison for Virgil Ortiz. I think he's poison for him because he's a boxer. He has five different ways to beat him. And Virgil Ortiz only has one way to fight. He has power. That's it. He doesn't have defense. He doesn't have a lot of boxing ability. He don't have a lot of lateral movement. He don't have that. So I feel like the reason why De La Hoya was trying to favor his fighter and giving him a bogus deal, a 50-50 deal where Xander Zayas don't fight in Puerto Rico, he fights in Los Angeles or Las Vegas. That's pure Mexican. Well, who does De La Hoya think he is? De La Hoya thinks that Virgil Ortiz is the champion? He's not the champion. He's the interim champion. He got to kiss Xander Zayas' ass. He got to kiss his ass. He got to kiss his ass. Because Xander Zayas is the champion. Excuse my language. I try not to curse, but I get so passionate about these things when this happens because De La Hoya's always been hating on Puerto Rico. Always been hating on Puerto Rico. And he never promotes Puerto Ricans. And if he promotes a Puerto Rican, Oscar Collazo, it's a co-promotion with Miguel Cotto. He's not really promoting him. He's not really promoting him like that. And there's not a lot of competition in the 105-pound division, but there could be a good fight between Bam Bam Rodriguez and Oscar Collazo. So that's something to look forward to as far as that weight. Arnaldo Nieves, number 2. De La Hoya has a vendetta against Puerto Rico because Milico Rietel, his ex-wife, dumped him like a used diaper. Facts. But I don't think that's the only reason. He's butthurt because Felix Tito Trinidad gave him his first loss. That's another reason why. I think that's the main reason why. Because he doesn't like to see Puerto Ricans shine. He don't even mention Subriel Matias. And he was there when Subriel Matias was fighting Puerto on the weigh-in, and he wasn't even saying nothing about Subriel Matias. You know why? He's jealous. De La Hoya's always been jealous of Puerto Rico shining. I don't know what it is, but he feels like he got embarrassed because he got his first loss by a Puerto Rican, Felix Tito Trinidad. So he has a vendetta against Puerto Rico. And he wants to force Xander Zayas to fight under his conditions, to fight his fighter, Virgil Ortiz, under his condition. When Virgil Ortiz is not the champion, he has to beg Xander Zayas. When Xander Zayas wasn't the champion, what happened? Virgil Ortiz went to Xander Zayas and said, his team said, do you want to fight Virgil Ortiz? And what is Xander Zayas saying? They said, you got 1 hour to decide. And Xander Zayas made a decision in 1 minute, said, I'll fight Virgil Ortiz. But what happened? Virgil Ortiz said he wanted to fight Madrimov because Xander Zayas is not the champion. And I guess he'll make more money with Madrimov. And he said down the line when they're both champions, it'll make more sense. So now all of a sudden he's changing his tune. Now he's saying that he wants that Xander Zayas is the paper champ. It's not his fault that he avoided to fight him when he had the chance to. And it's not his fault, Xander Zayas' fault, that Fundora vacated the belt. That's not his fault. None of them wanted to fight him at the time when he was ranked number 1. So, let me read the comments. Joseph, all right, Arnaldo Nieves, Trinidad deranged syndrome. That's what De La Hoya has. Joseph S., Jenny Dillon didn't throw any punches. Jerry Thong, Moses' trauma is a real deal. What do you think this is? All right, I want to get back into what I'm saying. I'm going to get back into the comments. All right. So Robert Garcia was saying in an interview that about the interim champions that eventually they're supposed to fight the full champions, but at the same time, if they don't fight the full champion, they still make money. So it's still economically feasible for them. They make 3% off of each belt for the champions. But he said that if it was up to him, he would go to Puerto Rico and fight Xander Zayas because they believe that Virgil Ortiz can knock out Xander Zayas. He's not going to knock out Xander Zayas because you can't hit what you can't see. I mean, you got power. Yes, Virgil Ortiz got power, but come on, he's going to knock out Xander Zayas? That's crazy. That's insulting. That's insulting intelligent boxing people that know boxing, that the boxer who has all the skills in the world always beats a puncher that doesn't have all the skills, especially if he has the strong will and the skill and the ability and the mindset, the mentality. And Xander Zayas has all the package. So for them to say, for Robert Garcia to say that he believes that he could make the fight in Puerto Rico and he will be confident enough to know that Virgil Ortiz can knock him out. He's crazy. He's insane. He's deranged. A real boxer, a real boxing knowledgeable person knows that 9 times out of 10, a fighter like Xander Zayas will annihilate or be poisoned for a fighter like Virgil Ortiz. Because Virgil Ortiz, he's one-dimensional. He don't have a lot of answers to his game. He don't have a lot of dimensions to his game. He's just a good puncher that goes forward. But he doesn't have the boxing athleticism and the IQ that Xander Zayas has. It's a different level. Xander Zayas is poison for Virgil Ortiz. He's poison for him. That's the most winnable fight for Xander Zayas right now, I believe. And there's another thing that I want to say before I end this video, because my phone is about to die. That's why I'm rushing this video, fellas. I don't mean to rush like that because I love you guys. You guys tuning into my channel. Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. Yes, subscribe to that channel. I gotta say one more thing. The Dominicans are saying some stupid, irrational, illogical stuff. Joel Broadway, I like his channel. I follow him. He's a great dude. He's a great person. I like what he brings to the table about Dominican boxing. But for him to say, is Trinidad Dominican? And then when you watch the video, they say, oh, Trinidad's father and Trinidad, they don't have no family in Dominican Republic. They said that they're Puerto Rican. So why would you make a video misleading people to think that Trinidad was Dominican when you know he's not Dominican? Trinidad's mother and father, they're all Puerto Rican. But Dominicans always want to take credit. I'm not saying all, but a lot of Dominicans want to take credit for what Puerto Ricans do. They wish they had a Felix Tito Trinidad that accomplished 5 championships in 3 weight classes. They're not on that level. They only got 1 champion right now. We got, okay, in the whole world, in the whole lifetime of boxing, Dominican Republic only had 6 champions. Puerto Rico had 60 plus champions. You cannot compare. I'm not disrespecting Dominican Republic, but stop disrespecting Puerto Ricans by putting a question mark with a Dominican flag behind Felix Tito Trinidad and saying, is Trinidad Dominican? You know he's not Dominican. For you to say something stupid like that, you should be penalized and they should ban your channel for like a couple of months. Just for saying that. Just for putting that up. I got nothing against Joel Broadway. I like his channel. I like what he's doing for Dominican boxing, but stop misleading people. And you're creating clickbait. So when people go to the channel, they find out, oh no, it was never. Felix Trinidad said that he loves Dominican Republic. Like I said, if he wasn't Puerto Rican, he would be Dominican. But he didn't say he was Dominican. And then you was speculating if his mother was Dominican. And he said no, his mother's Puerto Rican, his father's Puerto Rican. He's pure Puerto Rican. But they wanted to speculate that because they want to clickbait, and it's also like trying to like take away the credit from Puerto Ricans and kind of mislead people to believe that he could be, because Dominicans they're not so successful in boxing. They have a lot of boxing prospects coming out right now, Cedeño, Rohan Polanco, John Santana. But if they fight Abisael Cotto, Abisai Cotto will annihilate John Santana. He will annihilate. Remember the name, Abisai Cotto. Check him out. I interviewed him in my previous videos. Check him out. And I also interviewed Yanquiel Rivera. So yeah, stop lying, Dominicans. Stop saying stuff like putting clickbait, putting a Dominican flag behind Felix Tito Trinidad. I know you wish he was Dominican. I know you wish that, but he's Puerto Rican, and it bothers you. There's nowhere in sight where it says Trinidad is Dominican. No, but you Dominicans that say that, you guys are just trying to like get credit for something that you guys didn't accomplish, and just give credit where credit is due, and don't try to take away the shine from Puerto Ricans because you can't do it. Because we have a boxing pedigree that in boxing is second to none. For you to say that, and then in the interview, when I saw the interview, he was interviewing some guy that actually interviewed Felix Trinidad, and Felix Trinidad kept telling him, I don't have any family in the Dominican Republic. I love my Dominican people like my brothers, but if I wasn't Puerto Rican, I would be Dominican. He didn't say he was Dominican. So stop with that cap. All you guys, you Dominicans need to stop capping, and you Mexicans need to stop hating. Because you hating the Puerto Ricans on top right now. And we're going to have 7 champions before the year's over. 7. Peace. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Subscribe to that channel. Don't be afraid. Click that like button and subscribe. Yeah, I'm going to read my comments. My wife is telling me to read the comments. If I don't read the comments, then we're going to start arguing. All right. Making clickbait like that is weak. Yeah, Clay Hensby. Thanks for that comment. Making clickbait like that is weak. That is mad weak. Ver heavia. Eres maricón. Whatever. I know what that means. You're talking about your own self like that? Man, how can you talk about yourself like that? You really hate yourself like that? All right, you got your 16 seconds of fame. Ver Javier, whatever your name is. You know, your name is weird too. That's why you make those weird comments like that. Stop thinking about stuff like that. Maybe that's what you are. That's why you're talking like that. Arnaldo Nieves, Tony, mira este mama. Yo, Arnaldo Nieves, man, thanks for tuning in, man. He's one of my regulars. Clay Hensby and Arnaldo Nieves, one of my regulars. All these other people just coming in, like just intruding the vibe. Get the hell out of here. We don't need you if you're gonna give me that negative vibe. I need the positive people in here. But if you want to be negative, you're just making the algorithms go further and further. So thank you too, hater. Hi, hater. Hi, hater. You got your 15 seconds of fame. Jenny Thong, I know. Yeah, I remember Jenny Thong. She comes every once in a while. Are you a female or a male? Sorry if I don't want to butcher your name. It says Jenny Thong. Joseph, oh my God, mate. Speed, that's why I didn't. Moses, okay. No, that boxer, Moses Ituama. He has 13 wins, right? He's supposed to fight Usyk, I heard. Jenny Thong, I heard Moses Ituama. He's 13-0. I was reading about him today. And he's supposed to fight Usyk. But how does he get to fight Usyk with 13 fights? That's what I don't understand. It's all about promotion and management and who you know. Boxing is it's a business, man. It's who you know. It's like everything else, right? You could be the most talented person in the world, but if you don't know anybody, you ain't getting anywhere. That's just the way it is. If you know somebody, God bless you. That's what you need. You need to know the right people. Yeah, man. All you people over here tuning in, I really appreciate you guys. Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. Peace. I go because this Oscar De La Hoya guy, yo, he's a charlatan. That's what you know who called him a charlatan? Xander Zayas in his latest video interview with the Playmaker today. He said, what do you think about what De La Hoya's been saying about that this era is not good, that he can't wait for this era to finish because a lot of people don't want to fight each other. And, well, I don't want to say nothing bad about De La Hoya, because I'm a gentleman, but he's a charlatan, saying that a charlatan is like a joke, a person that thinks that he knows something but he really doesn't. He said he's always like that. Like he has enough. He said Xander Zayas said he has enough time to do videos like that. He's a charlatan. So he basically said he's a charlatan. And I think that De La Hoya is a charlatan. And he's a hater. He hates Puerto Rican shining. Too bad. Zanazai is the champion, and he's gonna have to wait. He's gonna have to wait until Zanazai feels like fighting Virgil Ortiz. Because Virgil Ortiz is not the champion, and Virgil Ortiz had the chance to fight Zanazai when Zanazai wasn't a champion. So now all of a sudden he wants to change his tune and wants to actually say that, oh, Zanazai, you need to fight me, man. You know, you're a paper champion. Oh, you're just jealous, man. You're just jealous because you're not the champion. Your promoter didn't get you a fight for the championship. Because Bob Arum is a Jew. He gets you the connections. He gets you the right fights, the championship fights. De La Hoya don't have the same influence that Bob Arum has. Too bad. De La Hoya doesn't have that influence. De La Hoya doesn't have the influence that Bob Arum has. Bob Arum, get a different promoter. Virgil Ortiz, get a different promoter. If your promoter's not doing his job and he's not doing what he's supposed to, his due diligence, then leave him and go with Bob Arum. Maybe you'll get a championship. But you don't deserve to dictate the terms, De La Hoya, of telling him to fight in Las Vegas or Los Angeles. No, he has to fight him in Puerto Rico. And if he wants that belt, Virgil Ortiz got to go to Puerto Rico. So stop hating Mexicans. And Dominicans, stop pretending. Stop saying that. Stop asking questions like, is Trinidad Dominican? He's not Dominican. He's Puerto Rican. Stop offending us. I'm not saying that. I'm just basically. I'm not gonna apologize. Look, don't call Trinidad what he's not. He's Boricua, and that hurts you. You guys just don't want to accept that Puerto Ricans are just on top of their game and give us our credit. We'll give you your credit when you guys come up, Dominicans. But right now, the track record is when Dominicans rise up to fight a champion, they always lose. But I want them to win because this rivalry will be good if they actually really start a rivalry because they're not even on top of the surface yet. They're climbing on top of the surface as Dominican fighters. I'm not hating on them. I give them credit and I support them. But come on, man. Stop calling something that is not. Stop calling things for what they're not. Felix Tito Trinidad is Boricua. Get that right. And don't even put no pictures asking a question. Is Trinidad Dominican? He's not Dominican. Stop that crap. That's all cap, false narratives. Stop the clickbait. Trinidad got offended when that interviewer asked him that. He said, no, I don't have family in the Dominican Republic. I'm Puerto Rican, but if I wasn't Puerto Rican, I would be Dominican. Don't try to twist it around and twist the narrative to favor Dominicans and making Dominicans think that he is Dominican. He's not Dominican. Felix Tito Trinidad is Boricua, Puerto Rican. All right? Get that right. I'm tired of that. I even hear it in the barbershop sometimes. And then I'm like, wow, they're going to start a riot over here. I got love for Dominicans, man, but I'm just saying, don't be lying, spreading false narratives. No, that's Puerto Rico, baby. Ana Rosahak. Is this Costa Rica? No, that's Puerto Rico, baby. But shout out to my Costa Ricans. But it's Puerto Rico, baby. Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. Peace. I had to let that off my chest. Don't be afraid to subscribe to the truth. If you don't like what I'm saying, then you just need to leave. Only the real people are going to stay in here.